So I'm starting basically my whole business, my whole concept here, as a response to a need that I see. And it's a very perplexing need. So a little background, I have been deeply healing my CPTSD, could say in recovery from it, deeply healing it for, it's like 6 to 8 years, maybe about 6 years. I was in a bad way. I was not functioning. I was not working, not going to the grocery store. And I am here to tell you that I have healed it. And there's still some lingering symptoms, but I have largely, and there's still work to be done, but I have made massive inroads toward healing it. I started this work to fill a need. The need being that, so in all of the YouTube videos I'm watching about PTSD, CPTSD, all of the coaches I'm looking at, and especially the medical profession who's trying to sell you on drugs, no one's talking about the fact that this thing is healable. And I'm saying healable. I'm not talking about some bizarre left field form of magic. I'm talking about the ancient practice of shamanism, which has been around since humans have been around. So I find it perplexing and interesting. It shows you where we are as a society as far as returning to the old ways that worked. The old ways worked because there's just like a basic acceptance when you watch these coaches and these psychologists talk about working with trauma. They're not talking about getting it gone for good and lifting and lifting and lifting your vibe until you're actually just completely clear. That's the realm of, we say it's spirituality, but it isn't just praying to some God or spirit. It's literal energetic resonance work. Like, I am here to tell you, having done it myself, that in an extremely direct way, we are going to resonate the trauma out of your body. We're going to get it out. And when it's out, we're not going to worry about the lingering, we're not going to worry about the major symptoms of panic, anxiety, crippling, toxic shame. And so, and blessings to all of the beautiful coaches who work in this realm. I love what you're doing. You really explained the deep details of CPTSD, which for me is a huge, that's the first step. This is honestly fairly new work. I mean, it's not as ancient, but actually seeing it explained, people understanding what's happening in CPTSD down to the detail. This is beautiful work. It's fairly new as far as I've researched. And pretty much only Pete Walker in the mainstream is saying, which his book is fantastic for getting started on this work. But even he is not mentioning the shamanic work that actually achieves healing. So my call is to bridge the gap. I'm coming from the world of traveling, spiritual family, and we work in a totally other realm, it seems. And so I'm here to bridge the gap and bring this information back to society, because this is the golden egg I've gained on my travels, and I'm here to share it with y'all. My message I want to shout from the rooftops is the following. PTSD is healable. Trauma is healable. And it's healable through shamanic actions. Of course, you can do great work in the realms of therapy, journaling, meditation, and I will be giving out some of those tools as a sidebar, as like an accompaniment. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that through simply meditation, journaling, therapy, you're going to actually remove the core deep-seated wounds, stressors, and belief systems of early childhood trauma. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that that's what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you how to actually remove the early core energetic seeds and core belief systems of early trauma, so that your ass can literally live in the world as a cleared being. Let's get all the way cleared. That's what shamans offer. there's all sorts of brands of shamans, and the world I work in is sacred sound resonance. So I work with sacred sound. I'm a drummer. I'm a ceremonial drummer, and the sound is an access point. It's just one part of it. I also work with plant medicine, which is pretty much a guaranteed access point into the deeper wounds. And so I'm going to be breaking it down for you on this channel, the way to get in and access the wounds. Because what trauma is it's like an arrow wound. So something happened to you when you were very, very little, or whenever it happened. It just as in a bullet wound or an arrow wound. I'm going to use arrow because bullet's too triggering, literally. Just as in an arrow wound, the thing happened, right? And it was full of stressful bodily experience. And then the stress got frozen in that spot. Often it's frozen in one spot in your body, or multiple spots, or there's a chakra or an energetic area of your body that's all blocked up with this event or trauma stress energy. Okay? And then the body clenched and closed around that wound. Just as in an arrow wound, you need to pull the arrow out as soon as possible after the trauma happened. If the trauma happened, we got to open up, and this is what would happen in ancient tribes. They wouldn't just, paper over the event and go about their workday. No, they would sit the person down and get the damn wound out emotionally and energetically, as if it was an arrowhead. Because as we know with the body, if we do not remove the arrow, the person dies, basically. And it's pretty dark. Unfortunately, that's kind of the pathway with emotional wounding as well. It does not get better. It gets worse, just like an arrow wound if left unmanaged. So something that happened to you 10, 20 years ago is like sitting festering in a spot in your body. Having that concept very clear in your mind, the work to be done is to reopen the wound and pull out the arrow. Okay, so just keeping that as the work to be done, right? So we have PTSD, we're struggling with symptoms, we are experiencing hypervigilance, lack of sleep, confusion, brain fog, the deal, the list goes on and on. Very detailed symptoms around abandonment, wounding, and, constant anxiety, and just like a core fear of just a general sense that nothing's ever okay. I mean, this is what I lived with for so many years. I can't even imagine how I got through it. And I was like a hustler in New York City, and I still somehow got through it until it broke me. I mean, I left there in a completely dissociated panic attack, like long-term, deep panic in the nervous system was my reality for many, many years. And my reaction to it, which many people do, was to run. To run and run and run and run and run and run and run until I could not run no more. And that's just, unfortunately, not going to fucking work. I'm going to just come out and tell you right now, running's not going to work. You're not going to outrun your fear and pain and trauma. It's never going to happen. It's going to catch up with you like a shadow, and it's going to try to snatch your stability from you. It's going to try to derail you. It's going to try to put you under. And the reason it's trying to do that is not because it's bad and evil. It's because it wants you to go in and fix the damn arrow wound already. Okay? So you had a traumatic event happen, and let's say it was a car accident, and your body was okay in the accident, and you worked through the insurance, and you kind of just brushed it off. Maybe you did a little journaling, maybe you talked to your therapist, and then we're just like going back to work and going about our day. Meanwhile, you haven't felt yet the absolute abject fear and terror of how it was in the moment of the accident, right? You haven't processed that emotion. So now it's just like sitting in there, sometimes in your heart, sometimes in your hips. A lot of times that emotional arrowhead is still in there. So you can do all of the paperwork, all of the therapy, all of the, we fixed the body and so it's fine, all of the forgetting, all of the, my thing was overworking, working too hard or too fast to attempt to outrun it that you want. And you already know. How many people right now are having a cycle of eating, shopping, working, watching TV in order to run from a pain that they're not facing? I mean, the list is probably massive. there's no shame in this. It's just time to get the arrowhead out before it gets worse, because it's not going to get better on its own. It's not going to go away. The car accident's not going to fade from your memory. It's actually going to come back and keep causing worse and worse nightmares. I mean, I don't want to wish this upon anyone. It needs to be cleared. That's what I'll say. It's got to be cleared. Okay, so how do we clear it? My practices are manifold. The main one being using sound resonance to access, relax, and open up that point in the body, and then to where the person experiences a purge of the energy that's trapped. So we open the body through resonance, which is really nice because resonance means that your body actually starts to vibrate at the same rate as the sacred sound. So the drum, the rattle, these are the tools of shamans, the didgeridoo, to go in and resonate the body at a certain rate so that the person can basically tune to the safety of the music. And from that safety and attunement, because we can actually find pitches that work on the area. So if you're in the hips and the root chakra, we're going to use a lower pitch, and then we're going to ohm up the body and kind of find a resonant pitch with. If we're in the heart, we're going to find that pitch. I believe the heart might be the one that's around 432, the sacred pitch. But anyway, we're gonna resonate at about the pitch of the area where the trauma is stored. Okay, and so it's both relaxing to the body to be in a beautiful musical ceremony around the fire. You're warm, safe. We're in blankets or by a fire. We're using sacred sound, which is also beautiful. It brings up emotion. It brings peace, right? And the healing, I just want to be very clear about the healing mechanism. Because a lot of people, when they say spiritual healing, they feel that it's airy-fairy, or they feel potentially that it's like, what they say, woo-woo, or there's not much groundedness to it. This is like the groundedest shit. Like, this is like spiritual surgery. Okay, so like but it's gentle, right? And we don't do much of physicality except for maybe gently tapping the area. My partner Raven uses a crystal wand, and the crystals are really great at doing just the same as the sound, getting the resonance piece to resonate at the same frequency as the crystal. So a green crystal, the reason that attunes to the heart chakra is because it resonates at the same frequency, which goes into further detail about like the frequency of the color green. So it goes very deep. I'm not gonna download absolutely everything at you right now, but the general concept is we are searching for sacred resonance in order to access that stored pain. Okay, if that makes sense. If we have a block in our heart and it feels very tense, a lot of anxiety I experience is like tense in the chest or heart area. And a lot of times it's a fear of love. It's left over from childhood or a bad experience. It's a fear of trust and love. And when we're talking about this, just again, this isn't some far out spiritual concept. This is just literally like, here's what happened. You had something traumatic happen from a partner, abusive partner, or a parent in the realm of love. Okay, and our heart just closed up around it. Our heart just clenched up a little bit. The stressful event got lodged in the heart like an arrow, right? And these aren't metaphors, they're real. There really is a dark ball of energy in that area, and a Reiki practitioner or a shaman can physically see that block in the spirit realm. So they're able to see in the energetic matrix that kind of dark, blocked energy. Could be either numb, or it could be black, or it could be dark purple, or kind of just like a little knot, like in a massage, a physical muscle knot. It's like that for energy. Okay, so literally all that needs done is just to massage that energy ball out, So why avoid that when it would be like one cool night on a plant medicine where you could just like get that shit out? And meanwhile, you've been running from it for 10 years. It's like just not worth it, right? Like let's just get it out. Let's just move on. And so the beautiful and hopeful and astounding news of this process is that on the other side, you're not going to have the trauma anymore. I'm going to leave a dramatic effect underlining that. You are not going to have the trauma anymore. You will have pulled the root, which it's a clear-cut process. You pull the root and it's fucking done. Okay? The only thing that's going to happen that might come in is your mental thoughts about it, which is part 2. I'm going to explain. Okay, so we're just currently on the energetic step. The very basic is because the best thing to do in any situation of healing is to pull the rug out from under it, remove the foundation of the thing, and then the rest of it. So here's how I see it. There's the foundational wound, okay? And then there's managing symptoms, right? So the foundational wound is like imagine a purple energy ball in the heart. And from that out branches a tree of things, like maybe it's creating some feelings in the nervous system branching out from that area, some blockages. Maybe it's creating some weird thoughts, some bad beliefs, like such as love is dangerous and unsafe, right? Maybe it's rippling out. It's creating all these symptoms. Now it's creating hypervigilance because we're not sleeping next to our partner because love is dangerous. You know what I'm saying? And now it's branching and creating issues in our relationships. Okay, so imagine this as a branch. We have the core, the dark purple ball, and then we have all the branching issues. So above the energy ball would be the core belief, love is not safe. Above the love is not safe belief, we're now causing issues in our relationships, and we're manifesting things that resonate. Right? It's all about resonance. Now we're manifesting situations that resonate with that core belief. So now I'm out here on the branches. I'm out further. I'm further from the core energy, and I'm now experiencing outer symptoms and reverberations in my life. Okay, so imagine that tree of healing. Most of the support for this issue, be it Western medicine, surface level coaching and therapy. And I'm not trying to put anyone on their bus. I'm just going to say most of the support available for this issue is going to deal with all of the crazy symptoms up here, all the branches. Yeah, it's going to say, there's going to be a video called Worried About Your Codependency in Your Relationship. Here's 10 reasons why you are afraid of love. This is how you work on your hypervigilance and getting to sleep. Okay, meanwhile, the damn root is a festering purple ball of stuck energy. So here's the thing. You can do all the work you want in the realms of fixing your symptoms, or the worst one of all, in my opinion, the Western medicine model of just take a medication and forget about it. I mean, how terrifying is that for actually healing? That's probably the worst thing you could do is cover it with a medication. That's what drug addicts do, right? So, so while you're up here running around trying to fix symptoms and trying to just like hold the reins of your life, the core arrow wound is growing worse. Okay, so and the thing I want to shout from the rafters, and the thing that makes me feel so fired up to do this work, is the fact that it's damn easy to pull the arrow wound out, guys. It's not, it's not super lighthearted. It's not a joy. It's not super fun. It can be. Sometimes it's kind of fun. It's really trippy and weird to go in these realms and do the work. It's a joy of a process overall as you watch yourself level up and spiral up out of these pains. But yeah, no, it's gnarly work, but it's can be simple and doable, and it's sure better than 30 years running. And watching your life kind of struggle and manifesting abusive relationships. And that's a shit ton more work than pulling the damn arrow out. So, okay, so now I've made my point on that. The basic process is resonating out that initial core blocked stuck energy. And depending on what you have, what you've experienced. So combat veterans will do like 1 to 3 MDMA ceremonies and come out largely clear. That's if they didn't have a deeper, of course there's other complications, like maybe they had institutional trauma from the military, and maybe they had daddy issues back from when they were, that's notwithstanding. I'm saying someone with a single issue, okay, you watched a friend die in combat, you can take a couple ceremonies and actually clear that completely. It's beautiful work. And then you're done. Okay, you're not gonna have nightmares about that anymore. You've cleared the core. Someone with CPTSD, which is what I have like 30 years of living with my abuser, and I have all this complicated family dynamical relationships, and that's why CPTSD can be way worse. Just simply because it's like years of repeated trauma from the thing never being fixed, right? You're still with the abuser, you're still experiencing the, so with CPTSD, I'm going to say there's a little more of a road ahead of you, but it's a road that is totally walkable, and it's a road that when embarked upon, you will watch yourself rise. I guarantee. That's one thing I can promise, is that when you resonate out these stuck energies, you will watch yourself rise. There's just no doubt about it. This isn't, we're going to cover the symptoms and barely get by. This is, we're going to actually clear our fucking trauma. Okay, and that's why I'm so passionate about this. Okay, that has been made very clear. And so we're still on step 1 of the process, which is a shamanic clearing of the stuck energy itself from the body. All right, so we're working with sacred sound resonance to both relax and gentle the person in the ceremony. So we're in front of a very warm fire with blankets. We've set up cozy. We've got fruit. We've got coziness. We've got loving, supportive people. And we may or may not introduce hallucinogenic plant medicine. That is up to the specific ceremony. And when I say we, I'm talking in a general sense, the methodology of doing this. And we're going to ask the sacred medicine to help us with that specific issue in that specific night. We're going to set a beautiful intention when we have our beautiful container and our safe people. We're going to set a gorgeous intention. And whether it be with the medicine or whether it just be with a music ceremony. And healing works either way. It's just that the psychedelics help us get into the subconscious mind easier. But there's other ways. We're going to set the intention, and then we're going to sit back and enjoy the ceremony. At some point in that night, as always works with intentions, the thing's going to come up. Okay, so you kind of set it and forget it. You go about your ceremony, and then it arises inevitably. So the pain arises, so someone, just in the natural flow of the ceremony, starts to feel a pain in the heart, and they start to have thoughts and memories about their dad who left them at a young age, or whatever it is. I'm going to give that as an example. And I get it. Like, the initial reaction when that comes up is like, oh God, don't look at it. Oh God, I don't want to look at it. Oh God, I don't want to. Oh God, I don't want to look at it. Okay. Because I still do that, right? I've done like years of this work, and I still, oh God, not this, not anything but that. Let's change the subject. Don't look at me. Run away. Want to run away. The flight response is real in that moment, right? And it makes sense. We're trying to protect ourselves. But what we have to remember is we had set this entire container for this to come up and heal. So we better do it tonight. We set the container, when we did the thing, we played the music, we gathered the homies, we set the fire, we put the blankets, we ate the fruit. We said, we're going to heal this tonight. And so let's just look at it with all of the loving container we've set up to make sure we're 100% safe while we look at this intense thing, right? Great. So it comes up. We consult our shaman or trusted friend or guide about it. We know we don't want to look at it, but we do anyway, with loving support from the human, from the medicine, from the sounds, and from the fire, And we go inside. So we go inside and we face the thing. And man, I have had to look directly in the face some gnarly things. And I'm not even going to list them here because it would be a trigger warning. So we're going to go in our example, it's dad left me at a young age, and I'm terrified of love. We're going in to the actual experience. Okay. So we're 3 years old and dad's pulling away in the car and we're crying and mom's crying and the family's confused. The family's being shattered. The family's being broken. This stuff's intense, Our goal is to stay in that memory and experience the entire memory and experience all of the grief that came with that memory. And so that's the goal of the ceremony, right? So we've done all the work to get ourselves all the way back there. Okay, dad's pulling away in the car. And now we're going to be the 3-year-old that did not get to scream and cry at the moment. And that little moment, it's not little, it was huge for us. That huge moment for us led to our issues with relationships at age 45. I mean, do we really want this to keep going? Or do we want to have one beautiful ceremony where we look at the damn moment and then suddenly see lift and see progress in our current life? Because the way that this works is our soul is like trapped back there. This is a common way shamans describe it. They call it soul fragmentation. Being trapped in the past is often how it's referred to in trauma work. It's just, we're stuck back there, okay? And so, like, literally by any means, all we got to do is get back to that vibe, become the little 3-year-old, and cry the damn thing out. And the cry we call the purge, and we have like a friend to hold our hand. We have the fire. We have safe homies. This is what the night is for in the first place, right? So it's like, great. We have all the gorgeous blankets. I'll call them all blankets, right? Blankets of love to access the thing and clear it. So we go back, we clear it. Our homie holds us like a baby, we scream and cry, and like often some of the deepest sobs and the most, you'd be astounded by how your face even, don't worry about how your face looks, but it's like the level of, I'm not talking, a lighthearted Sunday afternoon cry. I'm talking like your face is contorted and we are sobbing and we are really getting in there. We're really gonna stay sobbing as long as we can. And it's gonna suck just for that night. It's just gonna suck for a little bit, right? And we're gonna really have to pull on our spiritual resources and our strength just for tonight. And we're gonna reach in deep and sob and cry out that 3-year-old watching their dad pull away in the car. And there's gonna be some accompaniments to and so the crying, we call it a purge. Purges can take multiple formats. We might experience a physical vomiting purge. We might, which is energy. It's not food. It's actually energy coming out. We might experience a yawning purge. That's a good one. You'll hear your belly grumble. That's a good knowing that the purge is moving. You might experience like a coughing, a hacking up phlegm kind of purge. There's all kinds of purges. A really important one, which is very effective, is a shaking from the hips. So if you're in this work and you're screaming, crying, whatever it is, and you're also feeling like a shaking come up in your hips, please like lean into that. Don't shy off thinking it's weird. Just let it, help it along. Find a comfortable position. You can have like a pillow under your knees and really like just let the hip shaking gently go on for as long as possible. This is you getting out that core wound. This is all the methods we get it out. We might get it out through, my partner Raven uses these gorgeous crystal wands where he's actually just doing Reiki on the area, and the shaman can pull it out, right? He's pulling that energy out once we find it from the heart itself. So the wand is pointed at the heart and we're pulling it out. We can get it out in so many ways. The important part is to be open to let it happen and trust and just know that, man, this damn wound of your dad leaving, that has been fucking up all your relationships later in life and just making you scared and distrustful and really difficult in the realm of love. I'm not going to tell you that it's going to be instantly fixed tomorrow, but literally tomorrow you will feel lighter. Tonight you'll feel lighter. Tonight you will feel that your heart has opened a couple inches. Tonight you will feel that you there's more possibility in that area, the realm that we're working on. Tomorrow you'll look yourself in the eyes in the mirror and see like, damn, this person's less traumatized. I'll never forget my first ever ceremony, which was a really intentional, concentrated MDMA release experience that a friend had offered me because I was in a bad way. And we'll get into the technical details of which medicines for what in later iterations of this, later episodes. So my first ceremony was a deep dive with MDMA, and the next day, it was like an 8-hour ceremony of like some extreme releases. And the next day I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like a different person. I was like, my eyes are present. Like I was checked out for years. My eyes were totally different in the damn mirror. I was like, this is a different person. I literally the next day, and everyone knows MDMA has kind of a hangover, but it was such a release the next day. It didn't even matter the MDMA hangover. I was like on a cloud. I was like, this is literally astounding. And that is why I shout this work from the rooftops. And that is why I am very passionate. And I'm not sugarcoating shit. I'm not beating around the bush. I'm not telling you that the day after the gorgeous ceremony, you're just like miracle fix. No, there's going to be mental patterns to work through. There's going to be old beliefs that are coming up and surfacing. There's going to be residual healings and surfacings that are coming. Remember those branches? We've pulled the core. And so now the branches are going to come up to be cried out, healed, tapped out. But I will guarantee that the branches are lighter than the core. And that they're just a kind of extra clearing of the residue away from you and having this wound gone. It fucking works. I'm just so passionate about this because of the lack of understanding that this is how it works that I see out on the internet and in the world. I'm like, guys, we can get rid of your trauma if you want. Like, it's like what ancient peoples have been doing for thousands of years. You want to like, eat some mushrooms and like get it done about it, or what? Like, or would you rather like manifest shitty relationships for 30 more years? It's like, come on. Anyway, so yeah, we pull the core in the gorgeous ceremony. Then we move on. We integrate. That's really important. So the following day, through journaling, through counseling with your shaman or homie who helped you, we're going to slowly integrate this stuff, make it really clear to your mind and body that we have gotten a major part of this out. And some of them might be, you need to be scooped out, multiple ceremonies. That's fine. Some of the more sticky or larger incidents might take some work to get through. But these are how cores can be pulled, and forever. And it's forever, guys. And then your life just starts to lift because you're not someone stuck in the daddy trauma, someone stuck in the car accident day, that you're not stuck in the nightmares. You're just moved on. I pulled that soul fragment up to the future, and now we can go about our life. So yeah, that's the basic fundamental of how shamanic ceremony works for healing trauma wounds. And I'm really thankful to be able to channel and share this. I feel so grateful. I really want to spread this knowledge far and wide into the contemporary world, because once again, it has been ancient knowledge. It's very well known in places like Peru. Medicine ceremony is very common. The tribe just knows to go to the local shaman to work on the thing. I feel saddened that it has been so removed from our understanding here, and I feel very called to merge and integrate this knowledge. Some of the Peruvian shamans I talked to actually were very on board to have, they're like, please, like, give this to America. Like, please, like, spread the medicine, make sure we don't lose this knowledge. While some complain about cultural appropriation, others are desperate to get the word out to the wider world. I'm going to err on that side, just based on where the world's at and how much terrible shit goes on a lot of times and how much people need this beautiful healing work. I'm going to err on the side of sharing it far and wide. I will always give honor and presence and gratitude to those cultures whose practices I pull from, but the general mechanics I'm describing here are universal. using sacred sound to resonate out of pain is a universal practice. This is not specific to any one culture. I want to talk about the general shamanic principle to help spread the understanding that this work is universal. Thank you so much for listening. I love you so much. I wish you all of the beautiful blessings in your healing journey. If you're interested in embarking on this work, doing a personal ceremony, please reach out to me directly. I do have an offering available on Patreon for coaching, as well as I do private ceremony that you can just talk to me directly about. Reach out over email or Instagram DM. So yeah, so I just want to close this out and leave with let's just breathe a minute. I actually feel a tightness in my chest right now, probably just from talking too much. So I'm going to give it a little bit of tapping. A little tapping in resonance gets the lighter anxieties out almost instantly. Okay. Yeah, so that's part one. That's clearing the energy arrow, we'll call it. Clearing the core wound energetically. And then part two is a little more tricksy. It's going to be dealing with the residual mental pathways that have been created from the trauma. So there's two parts, keeping in mind the body has stuck energy, the mind has unhelpful thought patterns. Okay, so that's another realm. I'm going to get further into that on the next episode. I love you so much. Have a gorgeous day and blessings on your journey, girl.